There we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for coming in. Yes, I can see people coming in now. Hello. Hi, Ashley. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. Here we are once again. Whew, back in the swing of it. So, hope you're all having a great day today. I know we're under the luminous of a full moon, partial lunar eclipse. And I know the energy is getting a little bit intense, I mean, you just have to watch. The thing is, especially when you're getting such a powerful moon and this lunar eclipse, this in Taurus, we're not going to get it again for another 19 years. So this is a very transformational moon. This is a moon that has to do a lot with finances. Scorpio and Taurus are financial, right? So a lot of financial. You're going to be hearing a lot of that in the news about banking, interest rates, insurance, anything to do with with money. That's why even this year, at the beginning of the year, I said this is a year about money and making sure that you're getting your P's and Q's in a row as best you can with the money, because a lot of energy is on that, right? And then with Pluto and Capricorn, it's about organizing it and getting things organized of what it is that you need to organize within your own self and within your life. And but it can be feeling a little bit overwhelming. Overwhelming. Oh, I'm so sorry, Ash. Just saying. I mean, it a person with, like, right now, with a lot of Taurus energy, um a lot of transformation going through that are happening with them, right? And this lunar eclipse is triggering a lot. I mean, we just saw a lot to do when it comes to the weather. That crazy fog that came in Louisiana, and 150 car pileup. We also had the gunman in Maine just popping off people, and I don't think they've caught him yet, which is really weird. But his gun was stacked, man. It was just like, had a sight, had everything. So that was quite interesting, with that, and horrific in Maine, out of all the states, right? Um, so there's that's coming in as well. Um, Also, they chose the Speaker of the House, and his speech had to do a lot to do with Christianity and spirit, but just he decided to, quote scripture and stuff. So there's that I found kind of weird, because the thing is that, as much as people think that the United States is was built on Christianity, it wasn't. It's a republic, and they separated church and state. That's what the forefathers did. Um, Going back to even the chart for the EU, and the EU chart, I mean, it was it was it was built on one of the worst charts that you could build something on, especially when you're trying to formulate and bring countries together. So we're seeing that. I mean, we're seeing the EU, definitely the UN, falling apart because they can't agree. The foundations aren't foundations that are built very strong. So it's like the tower and the death card coming together. I mean, that's the energies that we have right now, coming as we are building up towards this lunar eclipse. The other part too is where the lunar eclipse is going to be falling, like the energies falling, and it's a direct line right through the Middle East. um Places that could be seen is going to be parts over the EU, over Europe, Africa, parts of and China, a little bit on the East Coast. The fading part of it, will be on the East Coast, and it's hitting Washington D.C. as well. Um, Us on the West Coast, we're fine. We're not getting hit by any of it. We just, we're going to be feeling the vibrations. We're going to be feeling that vibration. And then we have Venus with a quincunx to Chiron. And Venus is just not getting love. I mean, Venus is the ruler of Taurus, and she's just not feeling the love. Yeah, she trying over, trying to get the love from Uranus and trying to get it from Jupiter, but it just ain't happening. It's just not happening. Now she's quincunxing over to Chiron, and it feels like there is a wound there. There is this energy there that hasn't been healed yet. And again, we're going to look at the world. We're going to look at the situations that are happening around. We're going to the Middle East. There's a wound there that has not been healed. As much as they try, or they want to distinguish, they want to, create justification for whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm not going on any sides, just an FYI, it's whatever. But there's a justification and going outwards and searching for something new. This is also an alignment of witch hunts, which brings me to an article that I got through my ministry group, the Universal Life Church, which I signed up through and stuff like that. Anyways, this is an article that came in, and it has to do, is tarot a crime? Which is so also in alignment with what happened with World War II and Hitler and what Hitler was doing. He actually rounded up psychics, tarot readers, and astrologers were on his hit list, because anybody who could threaten what they were doing, anything that was threatening. So anybody who could see the future or do prediction astrology definitely is a threat, right? And they were thrown into concentration camps as well. In Pennsylvania, a tarot reader is speaking out after she was told the local police chief that she could be arrested and charged under a 19th century law that forbids fortune telling. Although no one's being prosecuted under the law in nearly a century, authorities insist it still applies. So there's laws on the books that still apply. Laws on the books that still apply to witchcraft and practicing of witchcraft in many different states, and here in Canada as well. We had our Governor General speak out about astrology, and different members of Parliament that were speaking out about astrology. So it is one of those things that are still thought of, right? And are persecuted. Now you got to think of what's happening. We just got a Speaker of the House that's talking about religion and talking about God, okay? Christianity. There's a president who is a Roman Catholic. You got a war that feels justified on Israel, Hamas, and Palestine. Now you're finding in Germany that you're not, if you're seen with the Palestinian flag, you could be arrested right now. So the energies of cutting down to be different or extreme, and we just, we just had this whole thing about being, I want to be unique, I want to be different, I want to be this, I want to be that underneath the energies, this darkness that's coming in. No, you got to toe the line here. You got to follow what we are saying if you are claiming that. Now the thing is that how this all went down with this young woman in Pennsylvania. She's 26 years old, and she's a shop owner. And it wasn't to pick up some spooky season decoration for the police. The cops stopped by the shop, and the police chief, Chad Martin, swung by the new witchcraft themed store, which opened in January, to inform the shop owner, Lawrence, that he may be forced to act if he received any complaints about a tarot reading service the shop provides. So if anybody goes in there and let's say you did a bad reading for somebody and they like, "Ah, rah, rah, rah," I'm going to go tell on you. He could be charged for doing that. He informed him basically he is not here to arrest me or press charges. However, if ever gets a report from anyone, he will be back on my doorstep. And there is another person also about tarot reading and was told to cease and desist from doing it. Now, these are extremely outdated laws and not uncommon in the United States, and many cities and towns still have the 18th and 19th on their law books. But despite Hanover's laws obviously outdated language, the fact that no one has ever prosecuted under it nearly a century, apparently the local authorities still feel obligated to enforce it. So there is that's coming out. And we're going to hear about this more and more. Like when I was listening to who was I listening to? I was listening to a few people this morning, but I think it was listening to David this morning, and he even canceled his trip to the Maldives because there's this I think it was last year or something where he was invited to go to the Maldives to talk and do astrology. Well, it's illegal in any Muslim state to go and practice tarot, to go and practice anything like that, right? And you could be, the witch hunts. The witch hunts are very much, within Africa and very much alive, even though a lot of people think, oh, well, that happened way back when, but they're still around. And we are in the energies of how the Third Reich wanted to take control and purify the energies. So this lunar eclipse is a one that is trying to tell us to stop looking for feeling better. Stop looking outside yourself for feeling better, but but taking the energy and looking within our own selves. Like if you're feeling like shit, it's not about searching and trying to get out there and feel better and do a spiritual bypass. This is about doing the work that you need to do and putting it what you already have and putting that to work. This is about, there's a lot of things that are happening within our world right now, and you can't manifest them away as much as we want to. But it is understanding them and using the skills that we do have to go through them, to work through them, to be that guide, to be that illumination. And in it, there is, the transformations that are coming through. Each one of the zodiac signs, like each one from Aries all the way around to Pisces, are going through a crazy transformations and having to show up to do the work that they've come in here to do and not try and do any spiritual bypassing. This is about really looking forward, and coming into one's true self. It's like how so many people it's not about jumping onto the bandwagon. That's the other thing. You're not to jump on the bandwagon. Like so many people did, with COVID. They jumped on the bandwagon. Okay, I'm going to go get the elixir. Yeah, because I want to go live my life. Well, the thing is that when you're not standing or banding together and listening to your own intuition and listening to that guidance, what we're seeing now is like there is weird cancers on the rise. There is heart issues on the rise. There is some other things that are on the rise. Health Canada came in and said there was the DNA strand that was in the shot that they took out of polio shots that causes cancer. That came out with Health Canada. So this is why I say, it's not a time to jump on the wagon. It's not a time to get into the propaganda and say, "Ooh, I'm for this side or I'm for that side." It's about looking at your own self and coming inside and stop and really stop looking for feeling better. Looking at where the wounds are still healing within our own selves. And being in Scorpio is about the shadow work. Diving deep within oneself and doing the work that needs to be done. and not trying to search outside oneself for something new or some quick fix, because it's not going to work. And you're only going to find that you're going to get a big slap in the face with it all. So the energies are between, well, they're just, as I said, as I quoted, you could quote me, this last quarter is going to be extremely difficult in a spiritual growth, in, you know, trying to align yourself with your truth and staying within your truth, not getting lost in the drama of other things around you and jumping on the bandwagon and saying, this is what I'm doing, or I'm for this, I'm for that. This is really coming in and also staying very neutral with it, and shining the love, right? That's going to be the most important piece. And as we are going to be hearing the rally calls to battle all around us, you're going to hear this more and more. You're going to be hearing more of what they're going to be doing, because they are going with with the president that they have right now. What he is going in for, he wants war. And in doing that, yeah, there's going to be, I mean, they've already started implementing the draft in the States, but we're going to hear more of it. How is it going to affect Canada? Well, our king just came out backing Israel, you know? So we're in a line with the Commonwealth, right? So there is that battle cry, but it's not for us to go out there and start rallying with the battle cry and getting on the bandwagon. As I said, and I've been saying this for so long, when you see everybody running towards something, run the other fucking way. You see everybody, oh, I need a pronoun, run the fucking other way. It's like, why do I need that? Or I'm for this. No, I'm going to be neutral in this, because I really know there's some other entity, something else that is in charge of this. And out of this, who's making the money? Who's getting the profits? Sure in the hell ain't you. Sure in hell ain't me. We're not getting $106 trillion sent into our bank account. And that's trillion with a T. These are the things that we really need to, especially spiritually, to align ourselves with. And I'm going to throw it out there. If anybody who did get the elixir and went on that, I would really, really ask for you to go into some real deep holistic healing, because there's a lot in there that was put in that shot that isn't good. And a real cleansing has to happen within the person. And the thing is that some people are saying, well, it's not bothering me now. It's not bothering me now. But I'm going to say there's things, and I said within the next 5 to 10 years after that, that's when things are going to start popping up for people. And they won't align it back to that. There's this is solely something different, but that was the trigger to it all, right? So there's a trigger to it. So we have a lot of that's going to be happening. So this world right now that we're in, this crazy, messed up world, I'm trying to set my phone up, is bringing us into so many transformations, so many changes, that when it comes to our own walk, our spiritual selves, we have to really look at our dark shadows, our things that don't align or don't work, and not to step out and judge. That's the big one. And that's going to be very difficult, in all of this. That the and I even said this before, like there was a energy that was coming in to stop a lot of the people with spirituality. There's going to be a huge boom on religion. that's coming through, and it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to unfold for us all, and a push for many to go back to the church or go back to the practice. And some will fold because it's easy. It's somebody else is telling me how I should be doing things instead of me connecting to the truth of my divine and my guides and my spirit in order for me to listen and hear what I need to be doing. And that is something we need to do each and every day. That's why I was explaining yesterday about the meditation and the prayer. Coming into the meditation and prayer is so important. Doing this every single day because it becomes a practice. If you do it, at least, less than 1% of the population is actually going to do this or hear what I say. But when you do it, you're going to see a 37% increase in what you are doing and how you are doing. But it is something that I'm going to say putting it out there for the next 40 days. 40 days really brings in where it starts to change the vibration within inside yourself, starts changing your the memory on your cells, on especially on your white blood cells, that of what you have been saying to yourself, and changing that to a new vibration, to a new energy, in order for you to walk forward in this newness and allow for the healing that needs to happen, especially with that Venus quincunxing Chiron, because it's not easy. It's not easy, people. So this transformation that we're all going through is going to hit very it's going to hit hard. And where this is, right now, because Leo and Aquarius doesn't have anything in it. Leo's that heart energy and wanting to come to the heart energy, and we have Aquarius energy that really wants us to connect and connect with the wholeheartedness of having that connection, which is important. Where Scorpio and connecting, Scorpio Taurus, to connect, there's got to be a reason why we connect. What is that connection, right? What is the reason for this connection? It's like sometimes I get very suspicious of people wanting to, who just out of the blue text me or something. Hi, how are you? And I was like, okay, what do you want from me? Kind of thing. It's like out of the blue, you want something from me, or you are looking for something from me. It's just my suspicious mind. That's it. But that's that's the Scorpionic, and that's the Taurus. And Taurus is like it'll love something. It'll show you that it loves something. When it stops showing you something, when it stops showing you that of their relationship or anything, they're not in love anymore. They're walking the other way. Because Taurus love to show. They want to show it to you. Here you go. Look at what I got. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. Because that's what they do. They love their stuff. They love their relationship, right? So usually if they're in a relationship, they're going to post pictures all over the place. When they stop posting those pictures, you're like, what's going on there, right? And that's where we're at. It's like, okay, looking at what you have, looking at what you are doing is going to be easy, and it's not going to be an easy lesson. It's not. This isn't easy. This isn't, this is getting your bootstraps on and putting on your big girl underwear and big boy underwear and doing the work. Not hiding away, not trying to go into the closet. Just saying. That's where it's at. I know it's not a very loving type of but I want love and unicorns. Between now and the end, even going into 2024, that's where, pressures are going to be feeling more intense, and those intensities that are going to be coming in. It's, the Pluto and Sagittarius, those are the ones that are going to be out there fighting. Those are the ones that are going to be out there fighting. The Plutos in Scorpio, those are the ones that are going to be stepping in to take charge, and it's those Pluto and Capricorn energies that from 2008 are going to be the ones that are the rebuilders, are the rebuilders, are the structures, are the ones who are coming in with the structures. The Pluto and Aquarius ones, when Pluto actually goes into Aquarius, I would say the ones that I'll go with by the end of 2024, 2025, they're going to be those humanitarians and justified to do things. So they're going to be a very interesting, because we've never had that energy, walking with us on this earth walk. Not unless, you're still alive from 1777 to 1778. So you got to look at the energy of those children that were born in that time. They were the ones that brought in, some new ideas, industrial revolution, all of that, taking charge of something new and innovative, right? And that new and innovative energy that's coming in. And that's the other part too, is that we have such new and innovative energies that are coming in, and very coming in quickly as well. So we have newness that's coming in, new ideas, new structures coming in. And it's partly, also about learning them, understanding them, and working with that in order to create them. And it's, changing the way we do business, changing the way we communicate with one another. So all of this is, this changes are coming in, and it's not, oh, it'll be here in another 100 years. No, it's going to be here, now. We're seeing it now. We're seeing a lot of it now. So it's just looking at some of the astrology and just watching how everything's unfolding, and hearing things that are happening on mainstream news, and it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Like, um Jewish students evacuated after far left mob tries breaking down the door. How horrific is that? The banks are raising the alarms. Uh, our prime minister, or our what are they doing? They walked out of a meeting the other day when they were talking about the censorship bill that is trying to be passed. Um, and that's when the RCMP went to talk about it. Uh, cars, car sales. Uh, EV, nobody wants an electric vehicle. They're having problems with electric vehicles. And now they're looking at the price that it's going to cost to keep them running. And how is that? And here in Calgary, I think we have, what is it? We have some big convention. The premier's here, part of the federal government's here because they want huge environmental changes, right? So we have all of this just like crushing down upon, and here it is for us to really come in and hold our light, hold our own through all of this strife and discard. Eris, North Node in Aries, right? So holding our own in amongst all of the craziness that is around us. I mean, even though you may not watch the news, you may not be paying attention to it, but it's there. The energy's there, and it's there when you go and fill up your tank and buy your groceries. It's you see it, you feel it, right? So here we are in this time where we have to look at how you can take a road less traveled, and that has made, a lot of difference. This is about allowing yourself to incorporate different mantras into your life, in saying, I am loved, I am abundant, I am beautiful. This is very important, to do those gratitudes and do those mantras, and keep your mantras short and meaningful, and having those mantras in your life are going to be an important piece over this next I'm going to say forever. I'm not going to say, not that the energies are going to be like this forever, but this is where a lot of pressure is going to come, and we need that spiritual practice. That spiritual practice is going to be coming a forefront in your life. If you are setting up something in your life and you don't have a spiritual practice, if you're not praying, if you're not meditating, I'm not going to try and say, oh, you got to do that, but it's very important for you to look into something and begin something, because that's going to really help you with the foundations and help you to carry forward in this time, as things are going to start getting and ramping up by Christmas. Just saying, by Christmas, it's just going to get crazy. And then we go into 2024 and we have the next set of solar eclipses. So, baby, it's going to get crazy down here. It's just going to get crazy. So, allow yourself to choose a day, a time that is agreeable to you, and start to implement it in some way into your life. So, heat went on and I'm getting hot. Any questions? If you have any questions or anything, fire them away. I'm opening this up. I don't open this up too much. If you are on my Facebook page, don't know if I can see your questions on my Facebook page. Let me see if you have questions on my Facebook page. All right, there I am. I'm a few seconds behind. There we go. But if you have any questions or anything about the energies that are coming in right now, if you have any questions about the astrology that's unfolding right now, I'm going to just give you a few minutes if you think of anything and wish to ask. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. I know she's getting me to think of a question. Nobody has any questions. That's fine. Everybody's running away now. No, don't pick on me. I won't pick on you. But definitely, if you're wanting to book in a reading or a natal chart reading, do I have tomorrow free? Well, I have next Thursday, Friday free. So, what's your number one tip before the holidays? What's the number one tip before the holidays? Number one tip before the holidays. Just keep it simple. Just keep it simple, because that's going to be the really important thing. Don't try and over exuberate it, I guess. Try and make it, simple, as for yourself and for your family. It's going to be a difficult Christmas. It's not going to be a holly jolly feeling kind of Christmas, especially with Jupiter retrograde until the end of the year. So making it simple is going to be your number one thing for this holiday. Yeah, that would be my number one tip for that. Yeah, because it's one of those, it's the intensity, things are just starting to ramp up, like intensely. And but it doesn't happen like the movies. Everybody's like, well, it's not happening yet. It doesn't happen like the movies. There's always a precursor of events that are doing things in order for things, in ramping up. When is the best time to travel aboard in the next year? I wouldn't. Sorry. It isn't a time to travel. Unless you feel, I don't stop people from doing what they need to do, but you're going to find over the next little while, it's going to be, you thought this year was hard to travel, next year it's going to be worse. And trying to travel and go places, because there's going to be so much so much craziness going on, harder to fly. Prices of air tickets are going to be crazy, astronomically priced. So, but, people will still travel and do it. So, but I have a client that wants to go to Spain and France next year, and in the spring of next year, and it's hard to say. I mean, because you also have the Olympics going in France next year in 2024. So you have the Olympics. So a lot of people are going to try and go to the Olympics in France. Um, I just think it's funny they have a bed bug problem right now. So there's that. And it just I it just doesn't feel right, if that makes any sense. And just astrologically, the alignment for traveling, because there's going to be a lot more a lot more people riding, a lot more people, um, where things aren't just going to feel good, you know? Would I love to travel? Oh, yeah. I mean, if I had the means and stuff right now, I definitely would. So, you know, um, vitamin recipe 2000, um, Caracum 500. I don't know what that next word, that nat I don't know what that word is. Nattokinase and bromelain depends on how many of the jabs you took, from 3 months to 12 months. Oh, a vitamin recipe. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, there's different ones that are out there. I haven't looked into any of the detoxing stuff, for anybody who's gotten it. That just hasn't been my thing, um, to look that up. My guides haven't directed me there. They've directed me more to do the astrology and get people prepared and stuff, and working with people to get prepared. Um, it's like there's so much I wanna say, but it's very difficult sometimes to say it when you're on, these platforms, because you don't wanna get deplatformed. Not that I have a huge following. One day, I'll have a huge following, but right now, my following is very small, and you really just wanna keep it forthright, kinda thing, I guess. That's what so it's just trying to just give you the 411 of what's happening, on how things are unfolding. There was a YouTuber, um, that just came out, and, astrology, what was it? Astrology hate? I don't know. What was she? Uh, what is her name? She just came out and she got a lot of views, and she used to be an astrologer, and but she's converted back to Christianity, and the thing is that a lot of people, um that liked her were actually a lot of, um Republicans who really loved her, what she did. Now, she's been asked by a few astrologers to have a debate. I don't know if she will, but I found that very interesting that she is, out there talking and condemning, astrology like crazy. A lot of people are doing that because they think it's end times, so they have to make good with God. Yeah, except when you look into the Bible and you look into all of that, it's based on astrology, which is kind of crazy, you know? I mean, the Magi's were converted to Christianity by Constantine. You know, they were converted, he had them coming over to Christianity. And the Magi's were the ones who studied the stars. Right? They're the ones who found Jesus. They knew there was a big event happening because they studied other cultures and different belief systems within the cultures and stuff, and looking at the stars on what was being foretold within the stars, and that's how they followed the star to Bethlehem. Right, the three wise men, which were Magi's. So a lot of astrology in the Bible. You know, there's a lot of basis with that too, right? So, which is very, very interesting. And where a lot of Christians have come out and, says, it's very demonic, and there's demiology and all of this within astrology and within the spiritual community. And of course, they pull in the tarots, just like I said before, bringing out old laws that are still on the books to condemn, a lot of the spiritual people out there. And I mean, we had it in World War II. We've had it before, when within the spiritual community, or anybody who doesn't think the way I think, then they must be evil, right? um to me, evil is when you want to do harm upon somebody else just because, I want to do harm upon you. When you see mobs of people going out and looting and attacking people, that's when you see evil at work. That's when you see the demon at work, right? And, the greatest thing the devil ever did was convince people he doesn't exist, And so many say, oh, he doesn't exist. Oh, really? Well, if there's good, there has to be bad. All right. So there's there is a push. And so when you're doing that, when you see that, like, when David wanted to go to the Maldives, and then he went in and he did some phone calls and did an international call to talk to about a visa and stuff like that. And they have to just look up his name, and they're just like, oh, well, he's an astrologer. I'm sorry, you're not allowed into our country. You're not allowed into Sri Lanka. You're not allowed into these places. Because if they ask you, what do you do for a living? And you put down, well, I'm a psychic medium, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get into Dubai. They're not going to allow you in. you know those, that's the thing. It's like, especially because sometimes you have to put down what you do. It's like in some countries right now, in 2024, when you're going into Europe, they will look at your Facebook, they will look at all your stuff, and like, we're not having that person coming into our country, right? We don't really want that. We don't want that type of energy in our country. And that's what you're going to find more and more. That's why, when Cynthia was asking me about traveling abroad, what you post, if you've been posting against, or things against the elixir, if you're posting things against, our handsome, beautiful, loving prime minister, you know that that could be deemed, when they're like, "Ooh, well, this person seems erratic," or this, like, probably if they looked at mine, they'd be like, I got a lot of no boxes that, even though I'm not world renowned and famous and stuff, but it's where it's like, enough that they will probably not like what I say or what I do. It's just like, oh, she tells too much truth, or she's saying things that might get people going, right? So it's that sort of thing, is that type of energy. And especially when you go into certain places where things were pushed, or an agenda was, this is what you had to do. and you didn't follow the agenda. You didn't follow the protocol that's going out there. I'm not following the protocol of what is being said through propaganda, especially when I know, Neptune is propaganda, and especially when he's in his home sign. So he's going to make it very elusive and very attractive and very dreamy and so like all over the place, right? And when we had the energy from, when Jupiter was in Sagittarius, and there was a disruption. We knew that when Jupiter was in Sagittarius, we knew there's things to do with flight, and that was just before Saturn was in there. So that would be about 2015, 2016. And, the energies were saying that there was going to be a change when it comes to travel. Sagittarius, they control travel. So something to do with travel is going to be changing. Immigration, migration, there's going to be the biggest migration and immigrations that you'll ever see, like we'll ever see, like the amount of people moving from their countries and moving into new countries. I mean, this is the largest that we've ever seen, where from the Ukrainians moving into different countries. Poland, got overrun. Poland had to stand at their border and say, no, we're not letting you in. And they try to push women and children to the front and saying, oh, you're denying women and children. No, we're denying you who are in the back. The ones with the short haircuts that look very clean cut. And not saying, it's just like, if you got a lot of young men coming in with short hair, looking clean cut, yeah, they're military, right? So you have that energy coming in. So, that's part of that, and it happens because Jupiter only takes a year in each sign, right? So in the past 4 to 5 years, what have we seen within our own country? What have you seen in the United States, in the border not being protected? Now they want to build the border up. Crazy enough. And take away restrictions, right? Same in Great Britain. There's this allowing for so many new people to come in without vetting them, without finding out where you're from, why you're here, what's your background, right? I mean, when Steve immigrated here to Canada, him and I had to go through a whole bunch of bullshit. Right? And making sure everything was legit and upright and all of this. And now you just walk in. Nowhere, and the other part too is that we're, part of the, our taxes, our money and everything, where is it going? Like, how is this happening? Where they come and everything is paid for as well. So that's all part of this changes and how people are going to be coming into and especially when you get Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto in Aquarius is a shit disturber, where you want humanity, because that's Aquarius. I want groups, I want humanity. Well, what group is there? You're going to find a lot of things getting divided, a lot of things getting tossed around in order to shake you up, to awaken you. Right? Just the same way as he went 2008. Every time he goes into a sign, he's a shit disturber. He goes into Sagittarius, a shit disturber, on boundaries, on borders, on creating an energy of young people who are like, well, why should I give a shit? What's, I can go do what I want. I can create whatever I want. I don't have to be accountable for anything. Right? So that's, when we sit back and we look like, oh, okay, there's lessons in all of this that we're supposed to be learning and doing, but some people aren't getting it. What the hell? So we want people to start getting it so we can start to live in a more harmonious, loving energy and create that loving energy, right? So far, how long is Neptune around? 2026, he'll be leaving Pisces. At that time, as he goes into as he goes, but then he's going into Aries and he's meeting up with Saturn. So Saturn and Neptune conjunction in Aries is that we're going to have in around 2026, which is going to be pretty gnarly as well. We're it is. It's we're in a time of huge transformation and changes in our world in order to awaken us to bring in the light, to bring in the harmony, right? The height of the war is going to be 2025. That's the height of the war. The height of the war when things are going bonkers. So 2024, we're going to be seeing a lot of things that are related war talk, a lot of war talk, a lot of energy when it comes to that. We are going to see inflation, definitely, possibly double digits when it comes to interest rates. To and also in 2024 is when people are going to start losing things, right now. When you look around, you see a lot of well-off people selling their stuff and selling, like, BMWs, Mercedes Benz, and all of their luxury items, because they know we got to liquefy a lot of this so that we can get through the next few years. And many of them, what they'll do is like they liquefy it, but then you have the smart ones who have money right now will say, I'm going to pick that up, 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 because people are always going to need a car or something, right? Until they try and take that away. But there's that. By 2026, 27 is where learning, like a lot of things that we're trying to show people now is to fortify you for 2027. Where you are able to fend for yourself. You're able to um you're able to plant a garden. You're able to feed yourself and bake and make your own dinner, kind of thing. You're able to think outside of the box. If my oven's not working, what else can I utilize? This is where this energy is coming in. It's like, okay, how can I teach you to be dependent? How can we teach you to be where you're not relying on these powers that say that they're there for you, but they're not really? So this is about teaching humanity, teaching the world to come within and look within ourselves, so that we can come together through our light and our love and our harmony and our peace and our bliss. But in there, we also have to, what is in there that is so deep and so horrific, is the trauma of what has happened, and hanging on to that trauma and hanging on to that victimhood, and declaring it as a right to be able to persecute someone else. An eye for an eye was there. It's like, if I stole a pair of shoes from you, you can have my shoes. Basically, it's not there for you to be able to take my whole house. That's what an eye for an eye was. And this is where it's like, it's where we're going for not an eye for an eye, but we're going for the whole bloody blindness, right? And here we have a huge pressure of energy that's coming in to get us to think differently. If we go back to, why did people come to America? Why did they come over here? They came over to have a better life, not to be victimized because of their religious ways of thinking. When the pilgrims came over, it was like, I don't, religious persecution. So they wanted to have a different way of life. When they were starting to break away from Britain, it was like, no, we don't want to be underneath a king. We don't want to be underneath that ruling. We want to create our own rules and create that independence of who we are as individuals, yet as a nation. Such that is what a republic is. Yet people have short-term memories. We only remember so much. We don't remember, and then we rely on history books for the rest. We only go back a couple generations. Like not very many, like my grandson won't understand what my father and my mother went through World War II and the Depression. My children kind of, but not really. They're very much a separated from that. Children who come in from migrant families, by the time their grandkids come in to the country, they have no understanding of, they hear stories, but they don't really understand it. And by the time they have children, it's lost, right? So it's that short-term memory. And then that's why things end up repeating itself, and that we have to relearn all the stuff again. And this time it's like almost where there is a lot that is beautiful and blossoming, and beautiful new healing modalities and ways of creating more harmony and growing our plants and coming together. There's so many beautiful things, yet there's also an overshadowing of this darkness that wants to come in and take it all away. But that's why we're here. That's why you're here. That's why you signed up for it. That's why I'm here. It's because we're signed up to bring in that light and come in and look at how we are able to establish our relationships and come in with community and communion, and come in with that sharing and that reverence, which is so important as we are stepping further and further into an unknown territory that is becoming so disruptive. Did I sign up? Yeah, you did. You signed up for this. We all did. We all did. No, and you can't revoke it. There's no revoking. There's no going back on it. But we signed up to be that teacher to our children, to our husbands, to our wives, to our friends and our family, and to be that light. That's what and holding it is not always easy. Holding it can be very frustrating, overwhelming, you know, and that's why we have to have those communities. That's why we have to have those outlets where we can be able to connect with nature, that we are able to connect with spirit. That's why our meditations and our prayers and our connection are so, so important. Coming in and asking and with our guides and what our guides are trying to show us and teach us right now, and being open to new ways of understanding, new ways of learning, right? And learning the new technology and understanding the new technology is there to help and aid us in many different ways. Taking it as a positive, right, is very important. It's very important. And as we are encompassing on a world of great transformation and change, a world that will try and stop you from being the person that you truly are, this is where I feel we can't stop. We still got to go on. Like through the whole thing, like even for me, I had to stay in my power of, of who I am. And there's going to be I got like, there's going to be so many freaking lawsuits on universities for mandating things and mandating the elixir. There's going to be so many lawsuits, and I hope the hell they sue their fucking pants off. And mandates on people who, they'll say, "Oh, well, we didn't force you." Well, if I didn't do it, you're going to fire me. And so I needed, it's like, yeah, maybe you didn't force me, but you did force me. It's like something like a narcissist would say, I didn't really force you. You could have, you just didn't have to take it, which is true. You didn't have to take it. You could have stood in your light and and stood firm. But it was one of those things, right? And where some I know took it because I knew that they were going to be the forerunners of some light workers that needed to come in to do it. We still needed their light where they were. And But this is where it's like it's allowing ourselves to come in and not take vengeance, not to condemn, not to boost your ego. This is about coming in of a place of humility, a place of your inner wisdom, and not to go on a new band, like run onto a bandwagon. That's the whole thing. Don't go on the bandwagon. Stay clear of the bandwagons. Just saying, stay clear of the bandwagons, because it's just going to get too gnarly, out there. Too gnarly. So let's pull some cards. Ooh, I've been on here for an hour. What? Crazy. I didn't even realize that. I got these ones right next to me. Don't remember putting you there, but hey, you're there. Tried to look for a new tarot deck, but nothing's coming out that I saw that I really wanted to utilize. Nothing really pops out for me as yet. So I was thinking, I got to confirm this with my family first. That's what I should do before I spew it out of my mouth of what I want to do. What do I want to do? I want to have on November 4th, anyone who to come over and let us connect and have appies and drinks on November the 4th. That's what I want. I'll see what my family has in store. So, first card. What do we have? Ten of Gabriels. So the Ten of Wands. This is where you got to think, are you trying to do everything on your own? Are you trying to take things on all by yourself? Are you working way too hard and trying to juggle everything? Or are you allowing yourself to open up and ask your guides, where should I go? What should I do? Help me, guide me upon this journey. Show me what I need to do, and then surrender, right? That's really where this energy, asking, are you connecting? And as you're connecting, we have the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles is like, it's being dedicated to what you are doing, being dedicated to that practice, being dedicated to what you are wanting to create. It's not about going out and racing off. It's not like the Knight of Swords, let's go. This is the sturdiness of, what are we planting? What are we creating? Let's do the steps that we need to do in order to create what we need to create. And with that, Four of Swords come in. It's not going to look the way you want it to look. It's like, I want to do it all myself because this is how I'm holding it and this is the way I want it to look. And your guides and God is coming in and saying, no, I got something better for you. It's not going to look the way that you want it to look. It's going to look totally different. It's going to be something different, but it's going to be just as great. But you're stressed. You're not wanting to have that. You got to come in and you got to rest. You got to come in and allow yourself to breathe, because you're trying that controlling. That control. I need to control it. And maybe this is better over here. Maybe I could do it over here. And it's like, no. Come into the fold. Come. It's like there was this beautiful woman that went around and she just hugged. She was from India. I can't remember her name. I think it had Mama in her name, but she would sit on stage. She was quite a large woman. And people would line up and all she would do is hug them. And sometimes the hug would be like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but she would just hug them. Just hug. Just letting them know they're okay, right? So could you imagine this just energy of of love coming in and just hugging you and letting you know you're going to be okay. In this strife and discord and craziness that's going on in the world, you're going to be okay. We're going to get through this. It's going to be fucking hard at times. It's going to be frustrating, but we're going to do this because you have it in you. You have that light. And in having that light, embrace the inner child. The Six of Waters. Embrace the inner child. Have some fun. Remember that this is a rekindling. This is a time of saying, okay, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to set forward in my basis and in the world around me, in a world that is unsettled and very rocky at this time. So trust in the process, because there's going to be a lot of endings. But remember, with every ending, there's a new beginning, and new beginnings take time. They take time to rebuild. They take time to recreate. So here we are. We're going to be recreating a new reality, a new place, a new harmony. That's where we're at. So there you guys go. Yeah. I see Cynthia's check. Yeah. So that's what I was thinking of doing, is wanting to have a gathering just for my birthday, and doing that on the 4th, and just have people can bring over goodies, and that we can share some goodies, and share some drinks or tea or whatever, water, can have sparkling water, whatever, and just connect and have it here in my little place, my little abode. It's not very big. You might end up sitting on the floor, depending. It might only be 3 people coming over, but that's okay. And just connect, and just talk, because I haven't had girls' night and girls coming over for a while, so that would be a lot of fun, and I'd really, really enjoy it. So, anyways, putting that out there. See what my family has. I don't know if they had plans. I honestly don't think they do. They're not. They're air signs. They're air signs. God bless the air signs. I love you guys to death, but sometimes if it, I know, you could come, you could bring the kids. It's fine. They can play with the dog. So yeah, it's just one of those things. But anyways, I'm going to send you guys out with so much love. May the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you, and all that you say and all that you be and all that you do. Shine your light. Let your light shine. Don't let anybody distinguish your light. Have a blessed one. Bye-bye, everybody. Yeah. Love ya.